Hello, friends. In case anybody's just tuning in for the first time, I am Robert Beatty, or so is the name that's been attached to this process for 7 decades. Seems like a long time. And this is a broadcast. This is a Zoom meeting and a broadcast to Facebook and YouTube of the Portland Insight Meditation Community, portlandinsight.org. And there's a ton of information there about meditation and starting meditation and all the different teachers that we have, and something like 300 audio talks from the ancient past. I think they're still there. Anyway, those of you on Facebook and YouTube, if you'd like to join the Zoom conversation, you can find the link to that on my website, robertbd.com. So my iPad is giving me the I'm about to run out of power sign. Now it's going to be okay. I came across a familiar reading from Carlos Castaneda from his Yaqui shaman teacher. And he said this: "Only if one loves this earth with unbending passion can one release one's sadness. A warrior is always joyful because their love is unalterable, and their beloved, the earth, bestows upon them inconceivable gifts. Sadness belongs only to those who hate this very thing that gives shelter to their being. This lovely being, which is alive to its last recesses and understands every feeling, soothed me. It cured me of my pains, and finally, when I had fully understood my love for it, it taught me freedom. Only the love for this splendorous being can give freedom to a warrior spirit. And freedom is joy, efficiency, and abandonment in the face of any and all horror." The Buddha said, try to live in this moment. Try to live in the present moment. I like to say to myself, sometimes I say it out loud, often I say it out loud, I aspire to love and accept this moment exactly as it is. To love and accept this moment exactly as it is. Only if one loves this earth with unbending passion can one release one's sadness. A warrior is always joyful because their love is unalterable, and their beloved, the earth, bestows upon them inconceivable gifts. Sadness belongs only to those who hate the very thing that gives shelter to their being. This lovely being, which is alive to the last recesses and understands every feeling, soothed me. It cured me of my pains, and finally, when I had fully understood my love for it, it taught me freedom. Only the love for this splendorous being can give freedom to a warrior spirit. And freedom is joy, efficiency, and abandonment in the face of any and all horror. So let us embrace the earth. Oh, I just had interesting watching what comes up. At the end of a retreat a long time ago, a woman named Judith Boyce, she's still in practice somewhere in Southern Oregon. I think she's a naturopath. I have fashioned myself to be somewhat of an environmentally attentive person. I did a master's in environmental studies finished in 1974, before the environment was even in the newspapers. So I fancy myself as kind of an environmentalist. And at the end of the retreat, she came up to me, and it wasn't quite that she grabbed me by the lapel, but she really got my attention. I think she put her hand on my shoulders, and she said, "Robert, you claim that you have a great love for the earth. Well, your body, this body, is the living earth, and you're not taking very good care of yourself." Interesting, huh? Still working hard at that. So let's do one of the fundamental self-care things. Let's pay attention. Let's stop and attend inwards. Let us embrace the earth. Let us embrace the earth as it manifests in this moment as this body. Let's sit comfortably upright. Comfortably upright. I have a little back support here, and I have one of those balance chairs, a rocker sort of thing, which is pretty good for my back. There's right at my sacrum, there's a little bar that goes across. I still have to hold myself up. These holding the self up muscles have gotten pretty strong over the decades. And so if we look in over this beautiful earth, this living earth, we find life. We find contact where the chair and the body meet. Feeling. This contact may be pleasant, unpleasant, or rather neutral. And we can remind ourselves, being followers of a particular spiritual tradition, a living tradition, we can remind ourselves of the refuge in the Buddha, in being awake. I aspire to be awake today. Refuge, I aspire to notice what this mind is doing, what this communicating being is doing. I aspire to be mindful of eating and driving and everything. I I take refuge in the Dharma and what is discovered in this practice. I take refuge in the fact of impermanence. And I take refuge in the Sangha, the community of practice. My friends on the journey. And my friends in the lineage. Just a decade or 2 or 3 ago, I discovered that I have 2 major lineages. One is through my parents, my socio-biological lineage, my psychological lineage in some ways. And then there's the spiritual lineage. With my mother, my Dharma mother, Ruth Dennison, and Uba Khin, and Lady Sayadaw, going back in time to the Buddha. And so we are well supported. Where is the body alive? Or where is it most alive? Opening awareness in what we would call the hands, in the left hand and the right hand. Inviting awareness to blossom in the face, in the legs, let us notice the reality of temperature, coolness and warmth. In the 7 enlightenment factors, the order they're usually presented starts with mindfulness. And then comes curiosity or investigation. How curious is this mind? What's happening here? Life is unfolding in its fullness right here. It's not going to be more alive later. This is it. The body is alive in this moment and it breathes. And there are actual sensations, not a fantasy, not an imagination, but awareness meeting the actual sensations of in-breathing and out-breathing, right here, right now. There may, of course, likely will be thoughts, trance states, falling into memories, into plans, into worries, falling into desires and wanting things. These desires can be very subtle. Or there can be disliking, or there can be fear, or confusion. It really is just like the weather. There can be sun and rain and wind and intermittent showers. There can be major storms. From the stable point of our sitting, awareness emerges that includes all of it. this present moment is the culmination of our entire lifetime. Some would say of many lifetimes. Whatever the case, this nowness is unpredictable. It can be from one moment to the next. There can be remarkable changes. The phone can ring. A memory can come up. We can remember to relinquish attachment to things. Our heart can be flooded with tremendous love and compassion. Sympathetic delight, appreciation, profound equanimity. And in the midst of this now, there is this aspiration of awakening. I aspire to be awake right now. Sometimes we fall into trance states that are quite extensive. Some of them are very familiar. We call them our personality. They seem to be just the way it is. Maybe they are all we've ever known. And then because of our sitting, our intentions, there's a moment of insight, a moment of understanding, a moment of seeing, this desire, this sense of victimhood, this hopelessness, this certainty, it's a kind of story. And there is this mysterious awareness, this knowing, which has no location. It just knows. Each breath has a beginning. Each moment of presence in the body is being alive now. Notice the coolness, if there is some. Notice the warmth. Notice the coming and going of the breath, the sensations of breathing. And let us end our practice this morning with a contemplation on gratitude. How many earth years has your body been functioning? How many injuries, sicknesses? How many times have antibiotics saved you? How many times have surgeons who have devoted their lives to learning their skills kept you functioning fully? Let us turn our hearts toward gratitude. Food. Have you ever been really hungry? I haven't. Maybe a day here and there. And somewhere or other, at some time or another, something lit up in you that became your quest for the Dharma. Perhaps through an encounter with someone. Perhaps through a broken heart. Some catastrophe or another. Inclining our hearts to gratitude. And to be grateful helps us to give up old resentments. How is it to open to unclench the hand that says, I'm always going to stay tight about this. This was a bad thing. And move into, these people, events, things in the past were all catalysts for my awakening. Relinquishing the attachment to disappointments of the past. It should have been like this, it should have been like that. And so we land in this present moment, brimming, or at least with a little stream of gratitude. Grateful for this life. Grateful for the Dharma. Imagine having a functional map. A map that millions of people have followed, tested, examined. And please now notice the body where it sits and touches. How it breathes. And I'd like to call to the altar of our hearts this morning our teachers, our mentors. Joanna Macy just came to mind. Remembering with gratitude how many people have held you aloft and said, go this way. Don't do that. Do this. May all beings everywhere share in the merits of our practice. There. Just turned on a little heat. Not sure what happened to my blanket. Well, good morning. Thank you for being here, for making the effort to get up. You will receive in your email inbox, if you're signed up for either of the major communication channels of PIMC, in the next few days, you will receive a, I think, really beautifully crafted questionnaire. And it's a questionnaire about, it's the leading edge of our diversity, equity, and inclusion process at PIMC, of what our community sees as strengths and weaknesses, and how we could, how we can move forward and become a community that is welcoming to more and more diverse people. The board and the teachers and I are slowly waking up. I speak just really for myself. I'm slowly waking up to the reality of whiteness and its privileges. Waking up to some things which are invisible partially because of not looking. So if you will take the time, I would be grateful It takes a few minutes. It's Kat. I didn't see Kat here this morning, but Kat put it together, and it's a very interesting, nice, a very simple, beautiful platform that it's done on, and interesting questions. So that's just a request that you'll complete that. And if you're not on one of those communication networks, please go to the website and put yourself on. Other than that, here we are. I need to end this morning by 5 or 10 minutes after the hour. I have an opportunity to be with my grandsons. So have you anything you'd like to share? Sharing's been remarkably poignant, which of course doesn't mean that anything you want to share has to be remarkably poignant. It could just be what's of relevance to you. What you're discovering in your practice is always a great curiosity to me. Oh, I got to put my headset on, otherwise I won't hear anything. Even then I may not. There, burr. Jim, will you wave at me if someone's talking and I'm not hearing anything?
Do you hear me?
What? Yes, I hear you.
What?
Speak up, child.
Good morning, Robert. Good morning, Sangha. It's Jessica.
Hello, Jessica.
Good morning. I just wanted to share at some point this morning, I think you mentioned or quoted about everything that we are, that everything has led us to this day. Everything that we've had in the past has led us to this day and who we are. And for some reason this morning, that really connected with me around holding on to stuff from my past. Means some arbitrary, I have a box of some notebooks and things from college years, so eons ago, and I have not been able to part with it. And for some reason, that statement this morning, I could really just sit with it and not like, I could really just sit with it and investigate. Now, why is that box? But it was interesting. It wasn't like my mind trying to sort through, oh, that's important or that's not. It was just sitting with it as why it seems to be necessary to this identity of this person. And all of a sudden, it just was like, it's not. Whatever experience I had and that box represents, I get a little, even right now, I can feel clinging. Like that's how I can begin to say it. I was like, oh, I'm grasping, I'm holding on to that baby, but why? And it's just, I feel like I finally have that first step to being able to go, I can let that go. And I recalled when you talked about your journals and how you burn them. And there was a part of me that had a flash of, maybe I could do a bonfire. Maybe I could do something, not now, obviously it's, but it was just an interesting moment. And I feel like that was, for whatever reason, just such a release. And it then just finally made me grateful for this practice, that some of those things that you just cling on to, you hold on to, and then it's painful to change them. All of a sudden this morning, it was like, it's okay. It's all changing anyways. It's all coming and going. And whatever that gave me or that represented, it's okay. I got to trust that it's in this thing that's me. And so onward and sideways. So thank you. It was just really interesting to see and be with it.
Hooray.
Robert, it's Pamela.
Hello, Miss Pamela.
Hi there. And Jessica, that brings up what I went through this morning. I was sitting focused on this moment is like this moment is like this, and just had that realization, not a new one, but again, that this moment is also all I have. This moment is all I have. And thinking, does that mean that, do I really want to be the curator? Do I want to spend this moment that I have being a curator of all these books that I'll never read again? And it's a similar kind of thing. I haven't gotten to my journals yet, but it was just a realization of, I don't think I do. There are things that I just don't need anymore. And so that was just a kind of a similar, oh yeah, I'm at the beginning of letting go of some of that. So thank you, Jessica.
Allison, you have company.
Hello. I do. I'm staying with my granddaughter Zola in Joseph, Oregon, and it's just been a real special time.
How nice.
Yeah, her mother is floating down the Salmon River and having her time
in Idaho.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Yeah.
And is it Zola?
Zola. Yeah.
Zola. Hello, Zola.
Just got out of bed. Can you say hi?
Hi.
Good morning.
Zola, who's a great swimmer in Wallowa Lake.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
Huh. Well, isn't it a little cold in Wallowa Lake? Oh, maybe it's no, I guess not.
It is. It's cold, but it's so refreshing, isn't it, Zola? Zola likes to snorkel.
Ah. Well, nice to meet you. I think I met you years ago when you came to PIMC. Yeah.
Yeah. You remember that? May all beings be happy? Yeah.
We should stop torturing you. Nice to see you this morning.
I wanted to say a little something about what has been in my heart, and that is, well, a couple of things, but equanimity. And I'm feeling, I'm back to this beautiful place where I raised my children. And, you know, seeing people again without being judgmental, and feeling their being of who they really are, and my being of who I really am, and just feeling equality, I guess, as humans, just these crazy mixed up humans, all of us. And it's just been a special feeling for me since I've been here. And you know, every experience is different. Going to the same place with different experiences, and those are things that I've been noting. And noting has been very important for me lately in my meditations. That, oh, this is new. This isn't new. This is joyful, or I'm uncomfortable about this. So I just wanted to share that. It's been real helpful for me. Thank you.
Thanks, Allison. Thanks for saying hi, Zola.
Hi, Robert. It's Carol.
Hello, Carol.
I You began this morning by speaking about bodies being a part of the earth. And we had a very poignant experience a couple evenings ago on Quadra with a body being returned to the earth. It was our first natural burial experience on Quadra. We have a group called Way to Go that over the years has been getting together and talking about all aspects of death and dying. And one of the things that I've been advocating for over the last while is to have a natural burial section in the Quadra Cemetery. And this has finally happened. And then another thing that's kind of evolved out of the group is the Way to Go Quadra-led death group. That is a support group that is there and available to help families when someone dies, to go through the whole process of after dying, dealing with the body themselves and not having to use a funeral parlor or funeral. And so that involves having a support group for the family, as well as care of the body, transporting the body to the cemetery, and any paperwork that needs to be done. And so there's a lovely young woman on Quadra, she in her 50s, who's been dealing with Parkinson's over the last few years, who just died on Canada Day. And people of this group were available to help support her family. And her nickname when she was young had been Cottonwood. And so she had requested that she would really love to have a cottonwood box for her to be buried in. And so one of her friends created this. It was very, very beautiful. And she was transported by friends in a truck to the cemetery, and members of the community gathered and met there. There was singing from the local threshold choir. And then again, a group of her friends lowered her down into the ground with ropes very carefully. It was something that they'd never done before, of course, so they had to do it with great care and mindfulness. And we threw flowers and cedar, and it was just a very, very poignant and beautiful experience. And so she indeed became again a part of the earth. So anyway, we felt, all of us, very fortunate to be able to experience that. And my husband and I have ourselves down for to be buried in the natural part of the cemetery where everything will just grow back. And anyway, I just wanted to share that.
Thank you, Carol. Is the cemetery by the fire station?
Yes, it is. It's on, what we call the back road,
Right.
on the way to the fire station. So, and our dear friend Steve is buried there.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
In the regular part of the cemetery. Yeah. So the natural burial section is just to the right.
I will stop by there. I just bought plane tickets last night to go to Hollyhock and stay for several days with Don.
Aha.
Maybe we could do some kind of
Beautiful.
a gathering while I'm on Quadra. I used to do that.
That would be very special.
I'll ask Don if you think we could pull that off.
Mhm.
Thanks, Carol.
Sounds wonderful.
Hey, Robert, it's Kathy.
Hello, Kathy.
I just have a question about going to Canada. So you're able to go there? Are you going to have to quarantine for 2 weeks, or do we know?
Well, the last I read is that I, as a Canadian, can come in as long as I arrive at the airport with a recent negative COVID test, and I will be required to take another COVID test upon landing. And then I'm not sure about what happens. And I think that I can proceed and then have to report my COVID test. I'm not sure. And hopefully by September the 14th, it'd be safer and more open. I did pay the extra to get tickets that can all be refunded. Be good if that works, because there's 35 people signed up for the retreat.
Good morning, Robert.
Hello, Sherry.
Yeah, I tried to sign up and found that it was full and was put on a waiting list. Do you suppose there's any possibility that you could do a back-to-back, or I mean, I suppose they can't enlarge the numbers because of accommodation, but
Right. Well, there isn't a way at Hollyhock to do a back-to-back. That's for sure. Sorry.
me too.
I'll sneak you in if you like. You can. They always give me a room that's big enough for 10, so we can just all camp in my room.
That'd be fine. I'm not very big and I don't eat very much.
A stowaway. You know, I've never done that. That'd be kind of fun.
Hey, Robert, this is Carmen.
Hello, Carmen.
I usually have to, work, so I never get to join in the conversation. I just end up meditating till 7:30, and then I have to run off. But this week I'm off work. And I just got out of ICU, spent 4 days in ICU from a brain bleed.
Oh, shit.
And it's all stemming from my heart condition. And the chaplain came to see me, who was a Thai Buddhist, a Tibetan Buddhist, which was very grounding for me. And I was in considerable amount of pain for three days, which the breath and focusing on the mantra of the pain kind of gave me the strength to carry on and find peace within that suffering. But I have so much gratitude for all the staff there, the nurses, the PAs, the people who take the garbage away, the people that bring you food. They are doing a tremendous work there. to take care of people. And I just wanted to share that with the Sangha. I have 4 weeks where I can't drive, and just letting the blood just dissolve in the brain. I'm on a lot of medication, and meditating is hallucinogenic. I'm seeing a lot of indigenous images and birds with imagery of Haida imagery on it. I'm seeing things when I meditate that are 3-dimensional owls coming out and dancing and the wings flapping, and it's quite an array of things that are happening from the steroids and the seizure medicine I'm on. So it's a different kind of meditation these days. I just wanted to share that with everyone. Gratitude. It's good to be here.
I'm glad you're here too. My experience of being in the ICU twice, a year and a half ago, my memory of it is the love, the incredible devotion to my care that people offered. I keep having this thought, tender heart, and all we have is now. And it's really true. I had lunch with a good friend yesterday, a fellow who knows me really well. My oldest friend, actually, Larry Thornton-Jones, consummate psychotherapist, worked with people for 40 years. We were sitting at lunch, and I was talking about this this sadness that keeps coming in. And he made one of those remarks, and it's how it is when somebody says something, it's like it gets you. It's like, oh. And what he said was, Robert, you're on a path in which you're encountering and accepting the truth of impermanence more and more deeply. And on the way to the profound acceptance of that, of course there's grief. Because all these structures and fantasies and these things that you're relying upon to think that the world can be a safe, stable place, the practice is intentionally illuminating them. And then they keep crumbling. I remembered, I think Jessica's gone earlier when she spoke, I remembered, it's a long time ago now, but I kept a little journal of what I did today. And it kept getting out of control. I kept forgetting to write in it for a week or 2 or 3 or 5. And it's like, oh no, I have... What if I forget? And at 73, so much of it has come and gone, and there's no memory of it. But what there is now. And so I'm really grateful that this now contains you and this being together. And a practice that says, this is where it's at, be here now. This is where life is. All that stuff in the past, boy.
Good morning, Robert.
It's been a lot. It's Joe.
It is. Your thoughts that you just expressed triggered something in me I wanted to share with you and Sangha, and that is that our belief systems are like the sandcastles at the beach that will be inevitably washed away. And if we can approach it with the joy and love of a child, to build it and be in the moment of the building, and then be in the moment of the tide coming in, and then be in the moment of it washing away, and then being in the moment of splashing in the surf, maybe that is kind of like the hokey pokey and what it's all about. I don't know. But I wanted to share that with you because it seemed like such a great image to have about those things that we look at or experience in the world that we think of that are so core and so, lasting, and yet all of it truly is to be washed away. And so, if nothing else, let's do it together.
Yeah, I find it relatively easy to watch other people's sandcastles get washed away. It's mine that I have a little.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not nice. I'm not saying I enjoy other people's sandcastles being washed away. So I get a little attached to mine. Speaking of which, I should probably go. I have little boys to meet in just a little while. So let's close with Bhavatu Sabe Mangalam. Or wait a minute. Allison, could you guys lead us in May All Beings Be Happy? I wonder.
Should we lead them in All Beings Be Happy? Okay, here we go.
You ready? You lead us.
May
May
all beings be happy.
May
all
all
beings be happy. May
May all
all beings
beings
be
be
happy.
happy.
Sadhu,
Sadhu,
sadhu, sadhu.
Thanks, Allison and Zola.
Hi, Zola.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Happy.
See you tomorrow.
Have a good day, everybody.
Yeah, you too. Bye bye.
Thanks for
Bye-bye.
being here, Jimbo.
Thank you. Always.
Goodbye, Darcy.
Bye, Carmen.
Bye.
Hello, Jilly.
Hi, Robert.
Be in touch, Carmen, okay?
I will.
Thanks.
I will. I'll give you a call.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye, Lauren. Here we go. Prepare for the leap to hyperspace. Go. Goodbye, dear friends on Facebook and YouTube.